Hey there! In this video, we've gathered moments that are almost impossible to believe, unless you see them with your own eyes. Get ready for rare phenomena, jaw-dropping stunts, and once-in-a-million events. Some clips will leave you breathless, while others will just make your day. Buckle up for a wave of unbelievable moments. Let's dive in. The car drives on, and the rainbow seems to cling to it, following along for the ride. Lucky driver. Now they've got their own personal journey into a fairy tale. UFO enthusiasts definitely wouldn't say no to a boat like this. Light shows in China are on a completely different level. You never know what you'll see during a flood in Mexico. This is what awaits sup lovers in Brazil. Thanks to its massive fins, the flying fish can glide for significant distances. A collision with a giant trampoline in the middle of the road is unlikely, but totally possible. It's hard to say who exactly he was talking to, but it clearly worked. These guys have clearly taken chilling to a whole new level. Southeast Asia has its own style of traffic patrol. Looks like Skynet has finally made its first move. Smash that like button if you'd love to swim with a dolphin too. Did you know fireworks are launched during the day too? At that speed, he could cross the Atlantic in just a few hours. He just doesn't know what else to do to win over agoraphobes. Relax, this isn't blood, but tree sap with a special pigment that gives it that color. Who would have thought you could get stuck in textures in real life too?
我俩给抹墙里了。啊？
The African rock python isn't venomous, but its size and strength always gets the job done. Now you know, a tree probably won't help you if you run into a tiger. If your Hogwarts letter never came, here's another way to feel like a wizard. Have you ever seen 7 suns at sunset? The lightning makes it look like he's stepping into another universe. Good thing this happened on the ground, not in the air. Looks like Zeus decided to welcome the aliens with a bang. A zombie prank in central London looks disturbingly realistic. He definitely won't need coffee this morning to wake up. Even witches aren't immune to modern tech these days. Just a little hint of how much we appreciate our viewers. And who said werewolves aren't real? Those seagulls definitely won't give up their prize without a fight.
We got about 70 ton of hay, and I don't know how many seagulls, but they're getting fed well.
A real-life mermaid doesn't need a tail, just a good pair of fins. Now his wife definitely has some explaining to do. A great reason to trim the trees near power lines. They were definitely not ready for a passenger like this. No one would have believed him if he hadn't filmed the whole battle. Now this is a 1 in a million kind of moment. He runs backward faster than most people sprint forward. We may have just found the true king of soap bubbles. Due to a specific type of plankton, this lake in China turned blood red. When nature and art come together, one artist in New York installed a 10-meter rotating weeping willow. They don't just fear electricity, they embrace it like real-life superheroes. This whale decided to pay them back for every cent they spent on that tour. POV, you just heard drama from the next table at the restaurant. Let's face it, locals in China always find new ways to amaze.
Паутину, прикинь? Да, видели когда-нибудь?
This is what an arachnophobe's worst nightmare looks like. What do you think? Pure coincidence or next level skill? Would you bounce with him in the backyard? Nope, it's not a dinosaur, it's a parrot, but it definitely sounds like one of its ancestors. Check out this defense mechanism bees use to scare off predators. Don't lie, you'd love to fly like this too. A perfect crew spotted just off the coast. We don't know what he's preparing for, but he's definitely ready. One of the most flawless serves in sports history. We're giving this trick a solid 10 out of 10. This library in the heart of Prague, filled with thousands of books, is absolutely breathtaking. A firefighting plane taking off just meters away from beachgoers caused a real stir. Nope, he didn't fall through the map, he just built the lowest car in the world. The one party guest who shows everyone how it's really done. Believe it or not, he's actually comfortable like that. A lightning bolt slashed through the sky as if nature decided to play a role in a sports movie. In Japan, the skies decided to put on a show without warning, and those who caught it on camera now know that sometimes happiness falls straight from the sky. No tickets needed, just mouths wide open in awe. When there are crocodiles behind the door, even a peephole becomes your salvation. One glance and it's clear, better not order delivery tonight. Feels like someone from another world really does drop by sometimes to observe Earthlings and stir up our runaway imaginations just a little. You get the sense this girl really wants to get into the Guinness Book of Records for bubblegum blowing. I wonder how long she trained for that. Flames burning under snow. Not a sci-fi scene, but proof that nature loves to surprise. When your food literally starts spoiling before your eyes, you almost want to applaud. A flavor show with a touch of horror. Try it? Only if the contract includes insurance. For those afraid of spiders, this shot is a walking nightmare. These webs could give Wi-Fi coverage a run for its money. When a sea giant floats through the city, time seems to freeze. It's not a GPS fail, it's a glitch in reality, and suddenly, everyone feels uneasy. An excavator unearthed a snake so huge the ground itself seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, and the snake? Totally unbothered, as if just out for a stroll. What is that glowing ribbon writhing in the sky? A mystery even for the toughest skeptics, but now California knows sunsets aren't the only sky shows around here. When a tool suddenly starts dancing like it's caught the rhythm of underground techno, you know someone below has thrown the party of the century. A night vision camera caught a strange bright blue object floating through the air, as if the sky decided to dip into sci-fi. The night vision camera caught something on a field, as if the crops themselves decided to perform a secret ritual. Without the footage, no one would believe farming could be so eerie. Something was found in a South African crater. For a second, it feels like the planet is winking at us. You haven't figured me out just yet. A bird pulls berries from its throat like a magician in nature's circus. Strange, hypnotic, and full of how is that even possible? A red-yellow sky spread above the city, and the world froze for a moment like a scene from an End of Days movie, except no one called the director. A pigeon spins midair like it's rehearsing a high-altitude circus act. The sea decided to play another prank, tossing millions of gifts ashore. Nature clearly isn't one for subtle gestures. When physics gets revenge for all those skipped classes, you get something like this with a bottle. It's a flashy experiment, sure, but the teacher would probably give it a D+ for drama. At night, above the ocean, sailors captured something tiny and glowing in all the colors of the rainbow, as if someone decided to throw a party between the stars. A glowing orb lit up the Californian sky, silent, slow, hauntingly beautiful. If mystery had a shape, it would probably look like this. In calm water, something suddenly began to swirl, small yet persistent, as if someone below was testing who up top would notice first. A leaf hovered in the air and seemed to say, "I'm not like the others." Neither wind nor hand could convince it to fall. When flames burst from underwater, the laws of nature simply take a day off. All that's left to do is stand and rewatch reality itself. A glowing ring appeared over Texas, as if someone in the sky was checking Earth's Wi-Fi signal. Maybe they really did connect, briefly. When a massive horned animal calmly swims underwater like a fish, you can't help but ask, is this a pool or a new season of Beasts vs. Physics? Sometimes clouds form in such shapes that your heart skips a beat, but when the silhouettes look too real, romance quickly fades to unease. Something clearly went wrong with the seabirds. Now they look like even they regret vacationing near water. Time to fish them out one by one. Over Canada, something appeared in the night sky that made people look up and freeze. It felt like someone above was checking in to see how our imagination's holding up down here. At a ski resort, skiers witnessed something truly beautiful. Let's be honest, when nature puts on a show, Netflix can take the night off. A young deer was leaping so skillfully, it looked like he'd just passed his acrobatics exam. Seems we've got a new freestyle jump champion in the world. When something unexplainable unfolds before your eyes, it feels like space just snapped its fingers and a portal to another dimension opened a little wider. The girl seems to be pedaling confidently. The small issue though, there's no bike under her. Or has she figured out how to ride on pure air? Underwater, divers spin like the ocean itself decided to test their endurance. Nature reminds us again, she's the one in charge. A car on a high-rise rooftop, not a joke, but a riddle of the century. Getting it down is doable, but figuring out how it got up there? A true puzzle with bonus points. When the sea glows blue with bioluminescence, you just want to stand still and stay silent. And if a dolphin joins the frame, that shot belongs to eternity. Only nature could create something this bright and fantastical. A water reflection floats through the air, defying every law of physics. Your eyes can't believe it, but awe wins over skepticism. A fire tornado indoors, spectacular to look at, but definitely not for a home show. Take it from me, don't play with fire. Strange dark smudges hovered over Florida as if the sky started drawing with smoke. Only time froze, and the artwork remains unfinished. Looks like an ordinary tree until you walk around it, and suddenly you're in another reality. Nature's clearly been having another laugh. A mysterious object hovered in the sky as if someone from space came for a little reconnaissance but didn't quite master the invisibility settings. Sometimes nature throws surprises even Google can't explain. These jelly-like blobs on the ground look like someone spilled soup from another galaxy. Half the yard is in sunshine, the other in snow. Feels like the climate is playing contrast mode, just to see who believes in magic first. Water runs down the window in a perfectly straight line, yet outside there's no rain, no wind, just the strange sense that the world is glitching a bit. When something washes ashore that doesn't fit into any biology textbook, all you can say is, "Hello, unknown." Underwater, a diver met an octopus who hugged him with such enthusiasm that romance quickly turned to panic, a meeting you just can't shake off. Cats on the roof? Normal, until a lion cub pops up among them. Looks like someone from the zoo decided to relive their backyard childhood. Don't be too quick to shout rat. It's a pacarana, a mini gentleman from the tropics. Bathes more often than some people, and does it with true poise. Tourists filmed a headless figure on top of a mountain and have been replaying the footage ever since. Sometimes it feels like horror climbs mountains too. When frost takes the brush, snow turns into art. In these moments, nature reminds us, artists come and go, but she creates forever. Sailors threw a charitable fish feast for birds. It turned into an event so grand, it looked like the whole ocean became an all-inclusive bird buffet.
But they're getting fed well.
Looks like the elephant just wasn't vibing with that tree. A couple of shoves, and the forest giant felt like a toothpick. A guy stood frozen in the middle of the road, like time itself said freeze frame. The longer you watch, the stronger the feeling that mystery hasn't gone anywhere. Huge fish swim in a tight formation as if rushing to settle scores underwater, and honestly, best not to dive in. They prefer to resolve things without witnesses. The fork clearly doesn't want to be washed, clinging to the plate like a drowning man to a life ring. Looks like it has its own opinion about cleanliness. This stingray seems to be deliberately posing, stretching its smile to the limit. Nature clearly knows how to add charisma even to underwater dwellers.
Сейчас приплывет.
When you look at creations like these, you realize nature has better taste and imagination than all designers combined. A man pours beer and the glass hovers mid-air as if it's decided to live by its own laws of physics. And it's no trick, more like an invasion to question reality. A tiny figurine holds a chunk of metal like a superhero on vacation. Looks like physics entered the chat and froze, unsure how to respond. Honestly, it looks unusual and pretty adorable. If you're afraid of insects, better not look. A true nightmare of legs and wings. And the brave ones? They're even touching this miracle with their hands. Looks like the portal to another dimension has opened again. How else do you explain what's happening in this frame? Are we really seeing this? A person walking down the street without a head. Something tells us that if it's an illusion, it's a little too convincing. A girl in a swimsuit, and a situation you definitely don't want to end up in. Judging by the scene, the police now have more than just a case, they've got a mystery. An elephant dives and swims underwater with the grace of a dolphin, a frame you just can't look away from. Looks like kindness can swim too. An eagle came so close to a person that the air itself seemed to freeze between them. And it's not an attack, more a moment of trust, when the predator decided, alright, I'll allow it. Really though, what else is a diver supposed to do deep underwater but ride an old bike off into the sunset? Looks like someone used this yurt as an entrance to a secret underground lab. This guy's literally burning up at work. Judging by his gestures, he came prepared to explain everything. Fireworks in China? Yeah, they've reached a whole new level.